Now, the next item on the agenda is citizens' time. I understand that several people have signed up and several people have concerns. Before we get into citizens' time, we're going to address some of those concerns with the facts that we've been presented with. And I understand some of the concerns because when this project was first announced, I done the same thing that a lot of you did, is get on Google. And I read some of the horror stories, and I'm speaking for me. I don't know about the other board members. And I went through and this project was different, and it checked off a lot of the boxes. So Mr. Bear and Mr. Manley, I seen Mr. Manley, from the JIDA. So we're going to tell you what we're dealing with, and it may answer some of your questions. It may lead to some additional questions. But we're going to give it to you, and Mr. Manley will address this. In economic development, whether it's a whatever it is, we're hamstrung about with certain requirements before we speak about it. It was released, and this is where we're at. So, Mr. Bear, I'll start with you and let you give a history of the project and where we're at.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Collins is going to bring up just a PowerPoint that will go here a little bit just to provide information about this project and where we are. The following is information has been provided to provide the citizens with the time frame information, expected results that the Joint Industrial Development Authority and Wythe County Board of Supervisors reviewed and considered in executing a performance agreement with Solis Arx, Virginia, 1 LLC for their development in Progress Park. First is their location. The location, Progress Park, is established in 1999. It's been marketed for this type of development. In fact, it has been an AEP certified data center for over a decade. Data centers have been an active target for recruitment in Progress Park for over 15 years. In 2024, the JIDA began working with the developer for a potential data center in Progress Park. Based on the parameters of the project, the JIDA and the company worked towards a project that was then on the lots identified as 35 and 36 in the southeastern corner of the park in proximity to the AEP substation. The next page will show the location, and to the left is the ungraded site 35. You see part of it was open grazing land. To the right is our industrial park, and this is in the bottom right hand corner is the location for this. The next is the location of this. It's cutting off a little bit on your display, but basically there's a 1 mile radius from the center of the site. Basically, within that 1 mile, the only other existing users are industrial uses within that part of the park. So just to make certain everyone understood where this is located. At the bottom there it shows exit 77. I don't know if that's visible on there or not, but this is to the east of Wytheville in the industrial park. The next is the projected investment. The company with this project has a total projected investment of over $1 billion in Wythe County. That is a very large project, the largest project that we have seen. The local incentives for this project. Wythe County agreed to provide the ungraded property to the company. It's about a 99-acre site at no cost in exchange for the promised investment. The company would assume full cost of grading and preparing the site. Wythe County is working with VDOT to extend Kent's Lane approximately 300 feet. No other incentives were offered to this project other than the local enterprise zone incentives that are existence in Progress Park and other areas throughout the county. These incentives include waived building permit fees after the first 20,000 square feet and established water rates from Wytheville based on tiered usage amounts, and wastewater rates from Wythe County based on tiered usage amounts. The utilities for this project. This company worked directly with Appalachian Power to confirm the availability and cost structure for the electrical supply for this project. Wythe County is not involved in that. We do not negotiate that. We do not deal with that. And residents and other businesses do not subsidize the large electrical users. Water and wastewater. Water is provided in Industrial Park by the town of Wytheville. This project indicates it will be a closed-loop system with air-cooled chillers. The company now anticipates the use of approximately 2,000 gallons a day, which is equivalent to our local restaurants. The currently in Progress Park, Wytheville has a capacity of 1.5 million gallons a day of water available. For wastewater, the wastewater will be served by the Fort Chisholm Treatment Plant. Wythe County has adequate capabilities and capabilities there within the plant. As you can see, we have about a 1.25 million gallons per day capacity and currently treating 300,000 to 400,000. Should the company need to provide any pre-treatment of their discharges, that would be a requirement for them. Do not have any indication that would be such, but currently Wythe County has 6 industries and commercial users that have to do pre-treatment of their wastewater discharge before it comes to our plant, and then we have to discharge meeting all capacity. There's no additional infrastructure cost to the localities providing these water and wastewater services. The water already runs adjacent to this park on the south and north of it, and the wastewater service is already available on the western edge of the boundary of this property. Environmental. Air monitoring. Any air monitoring requirements would be overseen by the Virginia DEQ. Groundwater withdrawal. The company has not indicated any plans of using any groundwater sources. Should they do so, it would require DEQ permits, but as mentioned, they're only looking at using an estimated 2,000 gallons a day. Groundwater discharge. The company has not indicated any plans of discharging to any ground or stream source, only to the wastewater treatment plants. Should they pursue any type of a direct discharge, that would require DEQ permits. And noise. This is located in Wythe County's Industrial Park. The Progress Park does have covenants that restrict noise level to 65 decibels at 500 feet from the boundaries of the parcel. Revenue. As you can see on the attached, the JIDA worked with Mangum Economics out of Glen Allen in Virginia to do a study of what revenue a projected project like this. The estimated additional revenue, annual revenue, is over $10 million a year starting in 2028, assuming construction goes to schedule. To put that in perspective, currently in real estate revenue, Wythe County receives is estimating $14 million in annual revenue from real estate taxes this year. The personal property taxes are estimated at $7 million this year. So as you can see, this would be by far the individual largest taxpayer to Wythe County, and would go a long way towards what is currently a $118 million county budget. So in summary, what does this mean? Progress Park, established in 1999, has been developed and marketed over years for this type of development. It is near existing industrial users, not located near residential areas. It will provide a large influx of tax revenue for Wythe County without additional citizen burden and no additional infrastructure costs. The board understands the large influx of revenue requires prudent planning for improved services and opportunities starting in the fiscal year 28 and 29. So what are some of those potential investments? These include, but in no way limited to, education, school construction and improvement projects. For example, a $20 million school project would end up, with a 20-year debt service payment, ends up costing the county approximately $1.5 million a year. A $40 million project costs the county approximately $3 million per year. In perspective, a $1.5 million in debt service equates out to about a 6-cent real estate tax rate. A $3 million debt service calculates out to a 12-cent real estate tax rate. For reference purposes, Wythe County's tax rate is currently 51 cents. Not only school construction, this can address teachers, staff salaries, alternative programs, athletic field improvements, and help us with funding buses. Each new bus costs approximately $150,000 a year. Public safety. As most of you know, Wythe County has taken on emergency medical services on the eastern and western end of the county. This provides additional funding for that. Rescue vehicles alone cost over $400,000 per vehicle, and this allows us to help with the expansion of our program with buildings and personnel. This helps with funding with fire preparedness. Fire trucks cost between $500,000 and $1.5 million, and even more for ladder trucks and others in the process. This helps with fire buildings and training centers. This can also help with personnel. We currently have some paid part-time staff working at the Max Meadows Fire Department based on the volume. This can help with the sheriff's departments. Each vehicle with the sheriff's department costs around $50,000 to $60,000 when outfitted. This can help with body camera costs, body camera supply costs, body camera storage costs, and police supplies. Parks and recreations, we have already started some improvements at Ager Park. The proposal can help us do new and improved facilities at Ager Park and also around the county, and help with additional programming. Community improvement projects can do additional water and wastewater service. Community service projects, workforce housing development, and currently Wythe County owns 14 acres on Pres Jackson Road that is setting with public water and public sewer in front of us that we would like to work on developing for potential housing development. Also, library improvements or other items. We have a few years to help put these items into capital improvement plans and develop how we proceed with those. The additional revenue helps give the Board of Supervisors the opportunity to keep local real estates and personal property taxes low for the benefits of all citizens. And obviously, I'll just state that, as additional information comes available and as future updates come out, we will be sharing those on our website and social media sites. So we are excited about this project. It has been years of preparation in water and sewer, AEP with their infrastructure, develop into a promising project for Wythe County. Mr. Chairman, that's all the information I have.
All right, Mr. Manley, and as David walks up here, just to hit on something that Mr. Barry said. 8 years ago, when I got elected to serve on this board, I knew that lot was built and or marketed for a data center. And David, I don't want to throw your age out, but you've been around a little bit longer than I have. So how long's this been in the works?
So when I had the honor of inheriting this position back in 2014, the groundwork had been laid for that going back prior to 2013, I think 2012 or 2011 in truth. We found a document today that was our first data center site certification that Appalachian Power helped produce with a consulting firm, and that was dated sometime in 2013. So prior to my assumption of economic development activity here, but it's been going around for, I'm going to say, close to 15 years.
And I guess, one of the concerns that we've had or we've heard is, this just got dumped on everybody and, we didn't engage the citizens. And you can explain why we're not allowed to talk about whether it's, there wasn't a community meeting when Gatorade came. And just explain how that come to fruition, I guess.
If you don't mind, Mr. Chairman, I produced some remarks that I can try to stick to, so I make sure I get the topics addressed that you raised here. I would say good evening, members of the Board of Supervisors, Mr. Chairman, of course, county staff, and assembled fellow citizens. My name is David Manley. I'm Executive Director of the Joint Industrial Development Authority. We are the economic development organization for Wythe County, the town of Wytheville, and the town of Royal Retreat. I was asked here tonight to speak to those topics you mentioned, particularly some topics that have raised questions where this project is concerned, but also more broadly as it applies to economic development projects in general. When we pursue any major project, whether it's this Solis Arx computing campus or even a typical manufacturing project, we follow a process that's common practice in economic development and a legal necessity in modern economic development. The process isn't about arbitrary secrecy. Instead, it's about protecting the community's ability to secure jobs. Economic development is globally competitive. We could never successfully compete for jobs and investment without confidentiality. Companies will not locate in a place where their proprietary plans are not respected. Revealing details prematurely gives competitors the data they need to undercut both us as a competing community, but also the business's competitors, and taking away any competitive advantage. The decision to locate in a community is tied directly to a company's long-term growth plans and its need to maintain an edge. The specifics of companies' capital investment plans, proprietary processes, and operational timelines are highly valuable, confidential business secrets. The business's success and viability demands this information be treated carefully. While we frequently operate under non-disclosure agreements and other promises not to disclose proprietary business information, we fully acknowledge the need to balance the public's interest by working extensively with the people's elected representatives and their appointed staff. The Board of Supervisors is the direct voice of the people, and they are constantly reviewing the viability of projects to ensure they truly serve the public good, and no decisions are made in a vacuum. As we prioritize targets and as prospects mature, we brief county leadership, usually in closed session as permitted by state law. Ultimately, it's our responsibility and ethical mandate to adhere to the letter and the spirit of the law. The law allows for confidentiality, but it also expects that confidentiality will be balanced with the public interest. It is in that spirit that tonight you're receiving specific facts about this project, on this site, in this community. This ensures the people of Wythe County and their elected representatives have all the details available as of now. In economic development, our goal is to bring the maximum benefit to Wythe County while maintaining the trust required to compete and win. Thank you all.
Thank you. Sorry about that. And I will say that now that the company has allowed us to talk about it, the CEO has said, from the beginning that he's open to having, a question answer session, town hall type meeting for citizens' concerns. Mr. Barry, I know you've talked to him about that, and I don't know what the
Yeah,
timeline.
we have discussed that, and we will work on a time frame for that.
And again, it'll be advertised. The big thing is that, the water capacity's there, the noise issue, there's covenants in it, in the Progress Park that allow the county to enforce, the infrastructure, and I've read the same thing that a lot of you have read. They plop these data centers out here, and AEP, has to build the infrastructure. The infrastructure's been there since before me and Miss Lawson's time on the board, and we're the two, I don't want to say oldest, longest serving people up here. So earlier when I said, it checked all the boxes of what I learned when I was trying to educate myself about data centers. With that being said, I think there's a bigger issue that everybody needs to realize is we control Progress Park, but we don't have zoning in this county. So until that's addressed, if you don't live in the town of Withfield or town of Retreat, one of these could pop up as your neighbor. So, you know, my hope is that you folks reach out to the other board members and say, you know, we need some type of control. And it's not just data centers, you know, it's solar farms. Because without that, there's not much we can do. And when I say we, I mean the board, because, you know, I'll be gone in January, and Miss Lawson too, but it's coming. This is what I view as a good opportunity, and I know that some of you know, despite what we say, you're not going to like data centers. But, you know, there's school projects. I want to see the Spiller Elementary addressed. I want to see Fort Chisholm High School and Middle School addressed. And this gives the revenue to address a lot of these issues. And hopefully, the future board will reduce tax rates on every citizen.
Yes, sir.
That's what I would do if I was still here. Now, with that being said, we're going to open citizens' time. I'm going to call you up, just like always. If you live in Wythe County, you'll have 3 minutes. And I understand if you're not comfortable speaking in front of a large group and you don't get everything said, if you've got written remarks, send them to Ms. Collins or send them to all the board. It's easier to send them to Ms. Collins. She'll send them to us. Or if you get home tonight and said, oh, I run out of time, I didn't get to say this, send them to Ms. Collins. You know, we want to hear what you have to say.